Most people think shedding skin is about new life. They're dead wrong. What if the very act of renewal wasn't a rebirth, but an unveiling? What if the shedding of the old skin didn't reveal a brighter, newer self, but something ancient, something far more sinister, lurking just beneath the surface? Today, we're diving into a tale where the primal instinct of a snake to transform reveals not a better creature, but a truer, terrifying form. Prepare to see rebirth as you've never imagined. We all know the snake, that slithering enigma of the wild, a creature often feared, sometimes revered, but always fascinating. Its most iconic act, beyond the strike, beyond the coil, is the shedding of its skin. A powerful symbol, isn't it? For centuries, across countless cultures, the snake, casting off its old, worn scales, has represented renewal, rebirth, healing, and even immortality. It's a clean slate, a fresh start, leaving behind the burdens of the past for a brighter, newer existence. But what if that familiar narrative is just a comforting lie? What if the true horror lies not in the loss of the old, but in the revelation of what was always lurking beneath the surface, hidden by that very skin? What if, sometimes, the transformation isn't into something better, but into something far, far worse? Our minds are wired to see patterns, to find meaning, and often to soften the edges of uncomfortable truths. We tell ourselves that growth means evolving into a more refined, more enlightened version of ourselves. But there's a darker side to evolution, a shadow lurking in the depths of symbolic rebirth that few dare to acknowledge. This channel exists to shine a light into those shadows, to explore the chilling possibilities that animal analogies can offer, pulling back the veil on the unsettling truths about transformation. We use the creatures of our world, their instincts, their cycles, as twisted mirrors to reflect the hidden monstrosities within and around us. Consider the serpent, a creature born of the earth, primal and enduring. It lives a life of quiet cunning, a master of patience and stealth. Its skin, a mosaic of scales, is its armor, its camouflage, its very identity. But as time wears on, as it grows, that skin becomes too tight, too worn. It clouds its eyes, restricts its movement. The need to shed isn't a choice. It's an inescapable biological imperative. It retreats, finds a quiet, secluded place, and begins the arduous process. It rubs against rough surfaces, straining, tearing, slowly, painstakingly, pulling itself free. Imagine, if you will, a serpent of unimaginable length, coiled within a forgotten crypt, its scales dulled by ages. Not just a snake, but the snake, an entity that has witnessed epochs, its very existence woven into the fabric of the earth's darkest myths. The time had come for its shed, a process more profound for it than any other. Its scales, usually a slick, iridescent black, had become brittle, almost dusty, an ancient husk clinging to its massive form. The air around it grew heavy, thick with an unseen pressure, as if the very atmosphere itself was bracing for a profound change. The first crack appeared not on its head, as is common, but along its spine, a faint, almost imperceptible line that deepened with each slow, agonizing flex of its immense body. It wasn't the clean, almost surgical tear of a normal shed. This was different. This was a fracture. As the old skin began to peel back, it didn't reveal the expected sheen of fresh, vibrant scales beneath. Instead, an unsettling glow, faint at first, began to pulse from the exposed flesh. A dim, sickly violet light that seemed to emanate not from its skin, but from within, its very being. As more of the old skin, now like dry, parchment-thin fragments, tore away, the light intensified, and with the light came the shadow. Not a shadow cast by the snake, but a deeper, shifting darkness that seemed to cling to the exposed areas, swirling like smoke around a newly ignited fire. The scales that remained on his body, the ones still clinging, began to warp, to crack further, not just splitting, but crumbling, revealing more of that pulsating, shadowy form beneath. It was a grotesque midwifery, a birth that tore itself from its own flesh. The sound was not of rustling, but of grinding, of old bone and calcified scale tearing against something alien. This wasn't a snake anymore. The shape was still serpentine, yes, but the substance, that was no longer flesh and blood, bone and sinew. Where its eyes should have been, the cracks in the old skin glowed brightest, revealing not emerald or golden orbs, but twin points of pure, concentrated violet fire, devoid of pupil or iris, burning with an ancient, terrifying intelligence. The shadowy form beneath the scales wasn't merely dark. It was an absence, a void given shape, yet somehow possessing a disturbing solidity. It was like looking into a tear in reality, made physical. With each agonizing tear of the old skin, a ripple ran through this nascent form. Glimpses of what it was becoming flashed within the shadow. Too many limbs, or perhaps too few. Impossibly sharp angles where smooth curves should be. Barbed protrusions that scraped against the remnants of its former self. It was a chaotic, evolving horror, a creature that seemed to defy the very laws of biological form. The shed skin, instead of lying discarded and empty, now shriveled and blackened, dissolving into fine ash that was immediately absorbed by the shadow, feeding it, strengthening it. It wasn't just discarding its past, it was consuming it, turning its former self into fuel for its monstrous new existence. This transformation wasn't about vulnerability, it was about an ultimate, horrific empowerment. The vulnerability of the shedding process, the moment a snake is most exposed, became for this creature its ultimate moment of ascension. It was a terrifying inversion of rebirth, a malevolent mimicry of growth. The serpent was not being made new, it was becoming itself in a way it never had before, shedding the last vestiges of its earthly disguise to reveal its true, unholy nature. This isn't just a scary story. This is an analogy, a dark philosophical lesson etched into the scales of a nightmare. We often talk about change, about shedding our old habits, our old selves, our old beliefs. We strive for symbolic rebirth, to emerge stronger, better, wiser. But what if, for some, or perhaps for all of us, there's something else waiting beneath the surface? What if the masks we wear, the skins we inhabit, are not just coverings, but containments? What if, when we finally succeed in shedding them, we uncover not a refined self, but a raw, unfiltered, terrifying truth about what we truly are, or what we are capable of becoming? This creature, this serpent that shed its skin to become a shadowy, monstrous form, its true nature gleaming through cracked scales, challenges our very understanding of evolution. We picture evolution as a climb towards complexity, towards higher forms. But what if there are branches on that tree that lead not to betterment, but to raw, primal, incomprehensible horror? What if true evolution, in some dark corners of existence, means stripping away what makes us human or natural to reveal something entirely alien, something born of pure, unfettered monstrosity? The glow from within, the shadow that takes form, the old scales crumbling into ash absorbed by the new entity. These are not just visual details, they are symbols. The glow could represent a twisted form of enlightenment, a horrifying self-awareness. The shadow, the primal fear and destructive potential that exists in every living thing, finally given form. The consumption of the old skin, a chilling rejection of the past, a statement that the old self was nothing but a temporary shell, irrelevant once the true nature is towed in time. This creature, this snake in its terrifying new form, is a mirror held up to the darkest corners of our own potential, our own hidden capacities for cruelty, for transformation into something we would rather not acknowledge. It begs the question, what do we shed when we truly transform? And what monstrous truth lies waiting beneath our own carefully constructed skins? This isn't a comfortable thought. It's not meant to be. This channel isn't about comfort. It's about plunging into the depths of human and animal psychology, exploring the profound and unsettling mysteries that lie beneath the surface of the familiar. It's about using the stark reality of animal instincts and the power of myth to uncover the darkness that truly lurks within. The terrifying possibilities of evolutionary horror, where shedding means becoming more monstrous, not less. So the next time you hear of rebirth, of transformation, of shedding the old to embrace the new, remember the long serpent. Remember the cracked scales, the violet glow, and the shadowy, monstrous form that pulsed beneath. Remember that sometimes growth doesn't lead to light, but to a deeper, more profound darkness. If you're brave enough to continue this journey into the unsettling, click here to explore another dark transformation.